is going to be Bully Boyz. Bully Boyz is all about the elite side of the Orks. It's all about taking, like, tons of mega knobs, tons of knobs, bringing these hard-hitting units, just going insane, and even having the benefit of 2 WAAAGH. What? Yes, basically being an elite Ork unit that just rampages through everything, and not necessarily taking much horde, but going fully into kind of like their more index competitive play, where you just take as many elite scores as possible to flood the board. But let's jump straight into it with how the Bully Boyz are affecting the 10th edition Ork Codex. Now, the core rules is basically the bosses watching, which gives you a second WAAAGH. It just gives you 2 WAAAGH. As long as you have the Warboss keyword, or knobs and mega knobs and the Warboss keyword, you get this. So basically, you WAAAGH once, doesn't matter who's in your army, you get the WAAAGH. When you WAAAGH again with the ability, this only affects mega knobs, knobs units, and Warboss keywords. You might be saying, oh, Warboss keyword, there's only one thing with the Warboss keyword. That's wrong. They've added like 60, or like, not 60, 60. They've added a bunch of different units with the Warboss keyword. So now Big Mega, Warboss in Mega Armor has a keyword. Beast Monster Twiggy has a keyword. I think Mozrog has the keyword. I'm not too sure about that. Like a bunch of different guys have the Warboss keyword. So this starts to grow and makes more sense. I think Big Mech and Mega Armor might have the Warboss keyword. The point being, there's a lot more Warbosses in the game. So the Warboss keyword now affects a lot more units and going to be really well. So this is just awesome. This is going to be one of the competitive... I'm going to say it right here. This is going to be one of the competitive attachments. Because 2 WAAAGHs is amazing. 2 turns of +1 to strength, +1 to attack, getting an advanced charge, and a 5 invulnerable save is incredible. And having that with a strong lead of knobs, mega knobs, and Warbosses is insane. And Ghazghkull has the Warboss keyword now, so that's right, Ghazghkull's going to be in this list. So basically, my thoughts on this is that it's an Orky elite. It's basically everything elite. So Ghazghkull, 6 mega knobs. Warboss and Mega Armor, 6 mega knobs. Warboss, regular Warboss, as many knobs as possible. Like, this is all going to be about the elite squads. Now, it's going to be very, obviously, it's going to be very basic. It's going to just be a copy and paste mega knob squads. But things like that is going to work decently well. And having the ability to gain all those, gain the 2 WAAAGHs is incredible. This is, the rise of the Mega Knobs, basically. This is the rise of the Mega Knobs. It's what's going to bring the Mega Knobs back. It's what's bringing Ghazghkull back. It's what's bringing the hard-hitting Knobs back. It's what's bringing Big Mac and Mega Armor back. It's bringing Warboss and Mega Armor. All these hard-hitting elite units. Knobs are already good, and then having 2 WAAAGHs is making them amazing. So, like I said, this is one of the competitive attachments. This is definitely going to be played a lot. You're going to see this in tournaments because just the WAAAGH is the best thing that Orks have to offer, and getting 2 of them is amazing. So obviously you're going to build your whole list around mega knobs, and things on those lines. But what are the stratagems and enhancements that this thing has to offer, and allows us to be even better, and is going to definitely confirm this as a competitive attachment. Now, the strats and enhancements all affect knobs and mega knob units only. So obviously, if you're leading with a Warboss, the Warboss gets that benefit as well. But this affects knobs and mega knob units only. So ultimately, you're going to want to take mainly mega knobs and knobs, along with the beast snake units, where you're going to take like 80, 90%, and then maybe 10%, whatever you feel like. Arm to the Teeth is a reroll hit rolls to 1 for fighting and shooting, and or all hits in the WAAAGH. So basically, you get a full hit reroll in the WAAAGH, or you get reroll hits of 1 in the shooting or fighting phase. Now, this is good. I don't know what to say. This attachment is just amazing, and everything it has works solely into just damage output. Having full hit rerolls in the WAAAGH is incredible, and it just tears through anything in its path. Or having just reroll hit rolls of 1 in shooting or fighting anyway is already good, especially when you've got freaking mega knobs who are just tearing through the board anyway. And knobs getting a full hit reroll along with the 2 WAAAGHs of +1 to strength, +1 to A, and having that potential movement in the WAAAGH is amazing. So I'm just saying this stratagem, gotcha. Too arrogant to die is basically on death you get to fight on death for a 5-up per model, and you add 2 in the rolls on the WAAAGH. Once again, good. Not the best, but it does work well into the idea of fighting on death. Ultimately, you got a big squad, you got a big 10-man brick of knobs you want to throw in there. Fair enough, fight on death. If you got the spare CP, you spend it, and you get to add 2 rolls in the WAAAGH. So obviously, ultimately, you die in the WAAAGH, you just shred them anyway. So bit of a side one, not really a main strategic one, but works well anyway. Always looking for a fight is basically you destroy an enemy unit in the fight phase and consolidate D3 plus 3 or 6 inches in the WAAAGH. So basically, when you destroy an enemy unit, you get to consolidate then D3 plus 3 in your fight phase. Yeah, you get to fight them and then consolidate D3 plus 3. So it's no longer just a consolidation of 3, but now it's a D3 plus 3 or 6 inches in the WAAAGH. Ultimately, this is like probably a really competitive one because what's going to kind of bring the whole squad there. It just gives you so much more movement potential, so much more slack on the idea that you don't need to move as strategically, and having 6 in the WAAAGH and getting 2 WAAAGH phases, which is going to be like Battle Round 2 and Battle Round 3, is incredible. And ultimately, I think this is awesome. It's not like super competitive. Obviously, you really want to consolidate with like a knob squad, so it's kind of niche for the knobs. But like, it works well anyway. And if you just can slack on movement, you don't have enough movement, you spend the CP, you fight, you destroy an enemy, you get to consolidate there. Potential movement is fine, but like, yeah, it's niche for you to destroy an enemy, but other than that, it works well. Crushing Impacto is another one, which is after charging a roll, 1d6 per model in engagement range of an enemy. Yeah, and each one, it's basically like the Beast Snagger one. It's like after charging, roll 1d6 per model and engagement range of the enemy, and each 5-up you get is 1 mortal wound or 4 ups in the WAAAGH. So basically, just like the Beast Snagger one, you charge in, you get this. This is niche because it's not like the Beast Snaggers where charging is like the greatest and easiest thing to do in the world. This is a bit harder because suddenly you actually need to put in a bit more work into charging. But having the Beast Boss and Squiggle Saw with some of your Squiggle Boys coming in with their +2 to the charge, I think would work really well. Ultimately, it's a bit of a side one. If you've got spare CP, you spend it to crush the enemy down a little bit. Other than that, it doesn't really work too well. Cut them down. After you select a fullback, you must take a desperate escape test, and you get the -1 test in the WAAAGH. So obviously you get a desperate escape test. I can't speak today. So it just makes going away harder. So if you're going to a heavy shooting based army, so things like Tau with their crisis bob suits, you run into them, they get that natural fallback without being able to shoot. They go take a desperate escape test, and it's -1 test on the WAAAGH, which is going to be for battle round 2 and 3. It works, but a bit niche because you're honestly really only going to want to target units that are going to want to fall back anyway. So things like all of Adeptus Mechanicus units, or Tau units, or heavy shooting brick units, or things like that are actually going to want to fall back. So yeah, but a bit niche. You're going to want to have things that work into that kind of area of expertise. And Hulking Brutes is worse than AP by 1 for enemy shooting against this unit. Basically, heavy shooting unit firing into a squad, AP -1, Orks version of Armor of Contempt, brings life into a squad and just makes the ability to move up on the board a lot easier. Not much else to say, it's just you don't die as easy from shooting when you get shot. Okay, enhancements. This is interesting. So, Teleporter, Warbosses, and Mega Armor units get Deep Strike. That's right, Warboss in Mega Armor is Deep Striking, meaning the Mega Knobs are Deep Striking, meaning you can put them in a position that allows you to play more effectively. This is meh. I'm just saying it's not meh. This is amazing. This works really well because suddenly you've got so much more potential on the WAAAGH. Deep Strike in, then just bang, charge in, getting all the charge rerolls. Sorry, that's what I'm talking about. You just get the WAAAGH, get the advance and charge. Obviously, you Deep Strike in, you get the charge. It just seems right. Like, it works well. Obviously, like, if you want to. It's not a guaranteed take, but if you have a model that is working like well into the list, then fair enough, use it. Use it as you must. But the Warboss and Mega Armor is gonna wanna be more on the board, especially for that advanced charge. But if you got plenty of them, you got spare points, works well. Or you got a design tactic that works into this thing, fair enough. But you don't have to take it if you don't want to. It's not a guarantee. Big Gob is infantry warboss only. You start a fight phase, 1 unit engage range must take a battle shock test. Basically just battle shock. Battle shock doesn't really do anything, so not ultimately. Bit of a waste of points. It's 20 points for battle shock with -1 to test. Yeah, man, not too good. Our biggest boss is +2 to wounds for infantry warboss, so just warboss basically, +2 wounds. You want big, hard-hitting infantry warboss, you just send this in there. Bit of a waste of points, it's 15. It's cheap, but yeah. Ed Stomper, reroll wound rolls against 1 units below starting strength, or full hit reroll against below half strength. Basically, you do damage to them, you get to reroll 1s, or they're below half strength, you get a full hit reroll. Nice, it's dirt cheap, so if you got a hard-hitting unit that's going to do a bunch of damage anyway, you might as well put it on it, because it's dirt cheap. Now, this was the Bully Boyz. This is a competitive attachment, full stop. Probably the competitive attachment, because it's literally worked so well into all of Ork's strength. You get 2 wars, you get more chance for movement potential, you get to isolate some of their most competitive units like the Warboss and the Mega Knobs. Gazgol comes back with even harder hitting and lethal hits on the WAAAGH, meaning you get... Do you? That work? You get 2 lethal hit turns with the WAAAGH? Maybe. I don't think it's been too competitive. I don't think you will get to do that. But the point is, everything in this attachment works really well for the competitive Orks already, and this is what's going to be the most competitive attachment by far. 100%. And if you want to play Orks to a competitive stance, you take this, you build up Mega Knobs, you build up your Knob squads, you get Gazgol back out of his box, and you send him into play. But this is going to be the Bully Boyz. Ultimately, the elite side of Orks that offer everything from Mega Knobs to Gazgol, and allow you to basically just do more for kind of hard-hitting, more hard-hitting elite units. Similar to the Index, but not